Peace, peace, family. What it do? What it do? Bro Foundation, we back. We back for another episode, bringing y'all more powerful conversations, more gems, just doing what we do. We appreciate y'all continue to tap in with us. You know what I mean? Yeah, another day, another episode. How's everybody living?
Doing
All
good.
is well.
All is well.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
All
Yes,
is
sir.
well.
Yes, sir. You know, we
How you, brother? How you, Ty?
life is good, man. You know what I'm saying? No complaints at all. You know. Life is good. All praise to the Most High. Even with you know, the current situation, we all know that we got a new president. Um,
Again?
so yeah, he back again. Like he never left. Which is crazy. I mean, that's a whole another topic in and of itself because it's really like he never left. But we gonna get into that next week. We probably gonna dive into that next week. But right now we just all just kind of soaking it all in and just realizing that we got new leadership of this country, and it's a lot of people don't have a good outlook on what is to come due to him being the president. But we got to make sure that we continue to take care of our own selves, our own lives, regardless of who was or who is the president. You know what I mean? Like we gotta take care of our family first and foremost. And yeah, just we gotta keep it moving. You know what I mean? We can't let stuff like that dictate our lives too much. We understand, it definitely is gonna have some, affected to a degree, most likely, but at the end of the day, man, we gotta just make sure we taking care of our families no matter who is the president. Don't matter, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, we're gonna tap into that, next week, couple, further down the line. But today we just got another episode. We're gonna, another topic we're gonna tap into. Um, so we previously talked about the importance of, speaking life into the youth and making sure that we're guiding them in the right direction. Making sure that we're giving them as many life lessons as we possibly can, right? Well, this today we actually gonna kind of reverse that and put that on the inverse, right? Like we got to make sure that us as adults, and even the young ones, right? We got to make sure that we're consistently and constantly tapping in with our elders, with our aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, great grandparents, you know, whoever we still have here with us, we have to make sure that we are continuing to tap in with them because they have already lived this life, right? They have already did for the majority, most of their living, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so we can gain a lot of insight from them, a lot of gems from them, a lot of things, that we should and shouldn't do from our elders, right? So it's just we just kind of want to speak on the importance of doing that, not missing any opportunity that we can talk to the older folks, the older gods, the queens, you know what I mean, grandmas, grandpas, right? Those are, like I said, they've lived a long, if they're still here with us, they've lived a life, and so a lot of times you can learn about your 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 history. You can learn about, you know, the things and people and situations that's come before us through them. A lot of our heritage is learned through them. So we just want to tap in on that today and just kind of really, you know, expound on the importance of tapping in with the elders and the older folks, the ones that we still have. So um Yeah, if you guys want to, I guess you would say share, like I said, what's your point of view? What's your perspective of, do you have any, elders that you can tap in with, and what are some things that you've, learned from them that as you continue to tap in with them?
Um, my main thing, what I learned over the years is respecting your elders, and it comes in different forms, man, because coming up, the old folks used to always tell you, man, keep on living, keep on going. You got a lot of life to live. You got to experience. They knew that you was inexperienced, and then one day you're gonna have to be experienced, right? To give to your kids and everybody else too as well. So a lot of times when my grandmother used to sit me down, I didn't understand a lot that she was talking about until I started getting older and started having my own and doing things. So as you being a youth, or even being a youth, or you a younger generation like us, and we have older ones that's before us, soaking in all of that knowledge, man, it brings so much different things. Whenever you go through experiences, you can deal with them a little bit easier if you remember, or if you transform the way that they taught you, or take the words that they're telling you and go live and do it that way. A lot of times, in life, we got to go through experiences, and I get that. But if someone tell you, hey, there's a red light down the street, you might want to be careful. It got a glitch in it. It might do this or that. But if you don't listen, you might be in trouble. You get what I'm saying? So, um, man, my big mama used to, sit down and talk to us, man, about a lot of stuff, man. And when I learned a lot of the things that she was saying, man, it just switched like a light switch. And I used to be a young kid, man, just like to just listen to like the old folks talk. I used to love the way that my uncle used to come in and clown and laugh, and that's where I get my personality kind of from, cracking jokes, doing this and that. So he it just was different. And whenever my other uncle, when he was full of that Earl, he was drinking, you know some wisdom coming behind that, because he gonna start talking. You know what I'm saying? So it was real deep that we was all able to grab, man. But now the day that we live in now is kind of a little bit harder. It's more challenging because we got so much pressures on, like, working and trying to take care of the family, and fluctuation going up and all this other stuff. So it's kind of hard to pass that to that generation of what you learn, over the time. So, but you have to, because it's important. And I see a lot of times now, like, when I was growing up, like, if you did something wrong, you got consequences coming with it. There wasn't really no talking. Big mama, I used to get whooped by my big mama. Then when I get home, I got my ass whooped. You feel me? So it was all in that one thing. And I told the kids one time, and they was like, "Man, you got whooped that much? That's almost child. It's not child abuse. I'm still alive. I'm good. I'm a good citizen. I did what I need to do, and they did what they had to do." So it's just passing on that tradition is very vital, because you able to, like, learn when you get older on what you need to pass on to, whoever you dealing with, what I mean? So I just enjoyed those moments, man. And my big mama gone, she died in 2018. So, but I still remember a lot of the conversations, and that's what I'm going to live with, because I know, like, hey, in this situation, this how she handled it, or this situation, this how my uncle handled it, you know. So those talks right there, man, because it hurts you whenever you don't have that no more. Because I was watching my dad when he was down, man. He got a little limp now. When he was down here, he just limping, and I'm like, damn, bro, I never thought that I see him limping. You feel me? It's like he's getting older, and I'm like, damn, this shit is reality, bro. And so when it hits you, it hits you, So just keep in mind that, always remember what they tell you, because it's going to help you. in the long run, you know, and you might not need it right then and there, but you will come across experience that's going to actually may bring that back to your remembrance. And that's when you're going to have to use it. You'll be like, oh, that's what Big Mama was talking about. Oh, that's what Uncle Ted was talking about. So just keep it in mind, you know, and just respect your elders. Listen to them as they coach you through this thing called life, man. So just go with the experiences.
It's true. It's true. I always think of this saying that I heard: you get young men for war and old men for counsel. Um, as you grow older, you're just a sponge where you're just soaking up knowledge. If you do it right, you should start soaking this up as early as possible. My very first plant job, I think I probably was the youngest dude in there. This was like at maybe 19 years old, something like that. And, the next male ages around me were kind of deep into their 20s and then so forth and so on. And so I've always been around older people and, I listen how, old men, they talk amongst themselves. They don't, give much regard to this little young kid over here. Men gonna be men. They're gonna talk how they talk. And as they're sharing this information, some of that stuff didn't click. It didn't make as much sense then at 18 and 19 years old as it did in my 30s, 40s, and 50s. It is just a constant exchange of information. Just how we get through this thing called life, by finances, relationships, both your wife or just friends, your partners out in the streets, and how you conduct your business. All that is learned experiences, and you use those lessons to help further you in whatever else that you're trying to do. It teaches you how to conduct yourself around other people, be it your brethren or other people. Just how you need to conduct yourself in order to maintain that level of respect, mutual respect for one another. And that stuff, it carries you throughout life. Respect is able to open doors that sometimes that money can't buy their way into. And sometimes, in some cases, you don't learn this through a school. That's just, tribal knowledge from man to man. Just this is just how you treat another male when you meet. You greet him, you shake his hand, you stand up, you shake his hand, you look him eye to eye when you're talking. That way you let him know that, I see you, you see me, we're the same. Young people, you might not necessarily think that that makes that much of a difference, but that's that again, tribal information that only comes from talking and having that relationship with somebody older than you, somebody more mature than you, that's going to help you be able to move through your life. So I think you always need to find and kind of gravitate to those. You can get this information from. Now, some stuff that you might get from you might can't use all of it. Some of that you got to kind of shake to the wayside, and you will realize, early enough what you can utilize and where you can utilize it at. But that is a very important life lesson and life skill that you have to maintain. You have to nurture.
Yeah, and that's key. What you said just it kind of sparked the what you say. We really, I think we lost as a community for sure when we started to rely on like technology and kind of lean towards just having those conveniences. At that point, basically around the time the computers came out, if you want to be real, that's kind of when it all started. But that was just the beginning steps of it. We kind of lost sight of just being in tune with our elders, our ancestors, and just having those sit downs because our lifestyles just started to move at a much higher pace. You know what I mean? Like the speed of life that again that we was living in, it was just way more quicker. So now we don't have time to sit down at a dinner table and eat with our family, let alone our grandparents. We don't have time to shoot, just sit down and eat, period, because we always on the go. We want to do fast food all the time. And I think just with the evolvement of technology, which is always a pro and a con to almost anything, it kind of took us away from just, experiencing real life situations, real life endeavors. And unfortunately, that comes with the lack thereof of, that bond and that relationship with the elders. And I feel like because of that, again, we just lost sight of everything. And if you think about it, like when we grow up, we can kind of look at our parents on how they came up and how they raised us, but who raised them to then teach us what we know. You know what I mean? It's just, again, it's that domino effect type of thing. So if we continue to, at least, if we continue to just move at a fast pace in life, just having that rapport with our elders, being able to talk to them, sit down with them, show them what's what, at least in our world versus, what we think their world was, there's going to always be a disconnect. So the importance of that is very, very vital because we know as adults right now, our world is forever evolving, it's forever changing. But what about those before us? What about those trailblazers that paved the way? What did they do to get us to this point? What did that look like? What did it sound like? Why is it that we don't sit down and cook no more? You know what I mean? Those conversations that we could have, it could probably help change a lot of the stuff we went to. Like you said, Jesse, we got our ass whipped back in the day. And I know with my grandma, she actually just moved out here to Washington, to be honest with you. I remember like yesterday, she used to have a Ford, what is it? It's a station wagon. Anyway, it had the station wagon with the rear seats facing the exterior of the car, facing the oncoming traffic. And I just remember us driving to Minnesota. We are in the back seat playing, fighting, and she's all right. If one of y'all cry, y'all getting your ass whooped. You know what I mean? So it's just like you just knew not to play with Grams. You know what I'm saying? You knew not to play with Granddad either, depending on, both of them was alive. So just being able to have those type of memories that'll never die, especially inside of our mind, it's a part of who I am. Like you said, Jesse, you start to see a person when they start to kind of deteriorate to a degree, you don't really think that's like, hey, they is getting old. They is. Same with my grandma. She walked with a limp. She then had multiple knee surgeries and the hair start thinning, all these other things that we take for granted. But it's like when you was younger, you watch them be agile. My granny used to skate. She used to teach aerobics class, all this kind of stuff. Now she don't do none of that. You know what I mean? So it's just like we gotta hold on tight to those type of encounters and those type of relationships, those people, because again, it's so much information in these brains of theirs, so much knowledge that they can give us to just, again, in my eyes, I think we need to slow down. You know what I mean? We live in a very fast-paced environment. So if we slow down just a little bit, we'll be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor, so to speak, and just be a little bit more present. So the importance, man, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 for real, for real. But that's just a piece of it though.
Now, you hit. I mean, everybody's hitting on all the points, man. Kind of speaking truth to the power, what you just said, Corey, and what the other brothers have said too. That's why it's important to, whenever you can, man, sit with the elders. You know what I mean? Sit with them and talk with them and get whatever info that you can, because if you don't, like, it's just like you said, Henry, like that's you learn from, that's how they're passing that information down from generation to generation, right? Like, so if you don't sit with your elders, we gotta, like you said, Corey, you're absolutely right. We gotta slow down and sit with our elders so we can get that information, so we can keep that knowledge passing on. You know what I mean? Talk with them. Like what was it like back in the day when you was young? What's some things that was out going around when you was younger? Who what did grandpa look like? I mean, what kind of person was grandpa, grandma, whatever, and where we come from? Where do we migrate from? Whatever information we can get, because like I said, the book, like you said, Henry, the books ain't gonna tell us everything, right? Like that's how you to learn about your true heritage and history, you got to talk with your elders because they're the ones who are directly connected. You know, like I wouldn't have known that my great grandfather was a full-blooded Puerto Rican and my grandma was half native, right? And so like there was many different questions I had growing up because I'm one of the lighter people in my family, but we all know how genetics work and you know how things happen. Um, you know, kind of get ridiculed, like I said, for being light skinned, everybody else kind of dark, and then me not knowing who my father is, right? I asked my mom, I was like, you know, one time we were on a little family vacation or whatever. And I asked her, I was like, I said, I don't know if I asked her if my dad is white, am I mixed or if my dad is white or something like that. I don't know what it was one of those questions. She was like, "Fool, your daddy darker than you are." You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I didn't know. I don't have no reference. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm just getting ridiculed because you know here and there for being you know so damn light. But the fact that okay, you tell me he's darker than I am. Okay, what else? Right? Like, what else can you tell me about this man? Right? Um, and then just like I said, so just knowing the fact that okay, boom, grandpa, full-blooded Puerto Rican, Taino, you know, we all know those the different tribes and heritages and things like that. Them is dark skin, dark they're dark. You know what I mean? The Tainos from back in the we all know how things evolve and change over the years, but like I said, man, so just and I got that information from one of my aunties. You know, just yeah, my grandpa was a full-blooded Puerto Rican, and my grandma was half native. And I seen some of the pictures, and it's like, damn, yeah, you know, you can see the tribal, because I mean, you're talking about 1900s. You're talking about, you know, what I'm saying late 1800s, right? So like er, that's quite a bit of you know a long time ago. So it's like there's a lot of different cultures and a lot of different, you know, like I said, the direct tribal influence was there, but I had to ask those questions, right? So it's like the fact that my grandma is not around no more. So, you know, I shout out to anybody who still has their grandparents living, parents living, their grandparents, especially the grandparents, right? Like if you are of age, you know, an adult and you still have your grandparents alive, man, anytime you can sit with your with grandma, grandpa, whatever, sit there and soak that up. You know what I mean? Like ask them whatever questions that you can. You know, that way you can continue that, you know, because when you get older, your kids, your grandkids are gonna ask you those questions. And you want to be able to answer them as best way possible. You don't want to be able to, oh man, I don't know. I didn't really get a chance to talk to my grandpa. I didn't really get a chance to talk to my grandma. Nah, because they're the kids they want to know like what was it like when when you were my age, you know, because they already think that it was so many years ago anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like kids already think it was so long ago. Like you remember when you was a kid, you see, man, you oh man, that wasn't me. I couldn't imagine what it was like when you were young, right? So like I said they already think that it's so many years ago in the first place. So if you can give them some stuff like, well, when I was let me see if I can pull something out. Let me see. You see this right here? This is what I watched a movie on. This is what they call a VHS. You see this? You see this? They're like, dang, that's you. That's you know what I mean? Like they would trip out, right? So it's like you gotta give them. You gotta sit with your old folks, your elders who are, and even if they're not your direct elders, like anytime I'm in the store or something like that, and I see a older cat, and a lot of times they'll stop and talk to you and kind of put you on and tell you some stories and you know shoot the shit with you and hey I soak it up, man. Them be the times where I will slow down and take heed. You know what I mean? Because I don't have too many direct elders like that I can talk to. So when I get the chance, and like I say, you might not be directly connected to me, but the fact that you stopped and you slow down and you telling me a couple stories about how it was when you was coming up and what you experienced. I'm gonna sit down and listen. I'm gonna slow down and listen, put the boxes to the side and rap with you for a little bit, and let you know that I'm not just gonna hurry you off. You know what I mean? Because I respect the fact that you have lived your life and you taking a time out to put me onto some game. Oh yeah, I'm gonna soak it up. I'm gonna soak it up, and we gonna talk for a few minutes. And I'm gonna yeah, whatever. I don't care. That probably is the only time where I don't really mind where I slowing down and stopping and you know because that's just showing respect, right? Like if when I get that age, I want if there's something in my mind and I see a youngster that look like me and I want to be able to put them onto something, I'd like that same respect, because yeah, man, it's this life is fragile. This life is fragile, right? So if we can um if we can do that, man, if we have the opportunity to do that, man, we gotta do it. And so many different sayings, what I mean? So many different things that God don't like ugly. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how many times I heard that growing up. God don't like ugly. What all all fat meat is greasy, right? Like what does this mean? Put me on. Tell me what that even mean, right? And then
Got
as you get
tasted
older,
the devil.
you might start adapting them same sayings, right? And then you're like, oh damn, I sound like my grandpa. I sound like my grandma right now. That's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how it's supposed to be. But like you said, Corey, we part of the problem is, man, like is the technology, but a lot of us had kids at such an early age, right? Now grandma's 45 years old. You know what I mean? Like living her best life. 35, 40 years old, you know, out here doing twerking and with OF pages and all that. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, these ain't the grandmas that I remember.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So we definitely gotta at least get back to just like I said, whoever if you still have elders around, take the time out, ask them questions, talk to them, find out some things that you didn't know about your past, about your history, about your relatives, or all that kind of stuff. Because when you get to the age that they are, 50, 60, 70, so on and so forth, your kids and your grandkids, your great grandkids are gonna want to know what it was like when you were their age. They ain't even gonna believe you was my age before. You was you were my age. Yeah, I was your age. Well, I was doing such and such when I was your age. You know what I mean? What dances we was doing when I was your age. Like the stuff like that. You want to be able to put them on, man. So yeah, whenever the elders around, highly recommend soaking up whatever information, knowledge, gems that they're gonna have for you because they're gonna put you onto something and it's gonna stick.
Most definitely. What the other one you said is saying God kissed it, the devil missed it. Oh,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
food on the floor. Hey, all right now, better not waste no food. And
Hmm.
you too, just something you were saying made me think, even when we raised by our grandparents, that child is totally different than when they raised by their parents. So that just tells you right then and there, if you watch a person who was raised by their grandparents versus their parents, what's the difference? So it's important, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so when you're investing, like whenever a lot of us don't realize what we actually doing. We investing experiences and we investing love to that person whenever you do give them the jewels of life, and that's what I like to look at it as. You know, because like with my family, and I thought about this, man, because a lot of times whenever the family don't know, like my dad, he didn't know his father. So that left me with questions as a kid, like you was bringing up, Todd, like, well, who is my grandpa? You know, and my dad was like, really, like, who cares? You know, so it was to that point where that's how he felt because of the anger and stuff that he felt. But it was never brought to our attention like how the family dynamic went on my father's side. So I didn't know my grandpa, I didn't know my great grandpa or nobody. So went on ancestry.com, you know, and go try to figure it out. And you know, and my last name is really not my last name. You get what I'm saying? So it was by my great 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 grandma, and she got with a guy that had the last name that I have, and she was in love with him. So, but her babies was for another man, right? So she just took upon that last name, and I found that through ancestry.com. I didn't like my family didn't even know that, you know. So when I told my dad about it, he was shocked. He was like, wow, like he didn't know. So imagine, imagine like my grandma and her mother, you know, they all having that conversation about what really happened. It could have like, you know, like cause you can like if I didn't find that information, my dad would have never went search for it. So he would go a whole lifetime not knowing this information. You get what I'm saying? So if it's not passed on the right way, you know, you gotta go find it. You know, and that's just something else that we have to put in our minds too, because you know, like when the older folks die off and this and because we gonna always be curious until we die. That's just the mind of thinking. That's just who we are as people. We're gonna always be curious. We always gonna wonder. We're gonna know. We trying to figure things out of how this connect to this, you know. So I have one more story too as well. Like with my aunt before she passed, God bless her soul. But I had a full ride, you know, to Mississippi State. I was gonna play football for them. Broke my ankle like right at the end of the year for my football, and so they just passed on me. They didn't want me no more, you know. So they was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and go find something else. All right, cool. So that was like that shattered me, you know what I'm saying? So I remember my graduation and you know, my family all around, everybody having a good time. And my aunt, she was just sitting by this my mama's rose bush over there, and everybody screaming 4 more years because I'm going to do something that everybody else want me to do. You know, I was going to college, you know, go be an occupational therapist. That's what I wanted to do. I made the dean's list, so I was able to get like a scholarship or whatever. And she said, sit down, young man. And she asked me, she said, this is not what you want to do, huh? I said, no, ma'am. She said, what you want to do? I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what. She was like, well, go be that. You know, so and it's still registering to my head right now, and I'm 41 years old. This is 20 something years ago. And now I'm putting the pieces together because of what she spoke to me. What she spoke to me brought life to me. And now it's like, okay, I could do this. My aunt believed in me and she instilled that because, you know, like my parents and stuff, they don't talk about that type of stuff. They talk about going to college, going, or, you know, stay on your job for 50 years where you at right now. And God bless y'all that actually going to do that and doing that. You know, you tip my hat off to you. But I have a different headspace of how I think. And she was able to see that because she told me ever since I was a little boy, she will always be the one to tutor me, you know, in school and stuff like that. And she was a very intelligent woman, but she saw something in me, and that's why she invested. She just was like, look, like you need to go do that, you know. And it took me 20 something years to figure it out, but I never forget it. That's why I said it earlier. I was like, you just don't ever forget certain things that people tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know that like verbal is more like because physical you can get over things physically, but verbal you'll never forget either good or bad, whatever somebody tell you. You'll never forget it. So it's just those jewels that we need in life and what we possess in life and what we can transfer to the generation to come. So that was for me, man, because I had to go figure it out. I went on ancestry.com because I was curious. Like I said, I was curious, man. I wanted to know, and nobody knew. So I was like, okay, well, I got to go figure this out. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to be the leader, you know, and go figure out how to do a certain thing, and then you can transfer it to the next person. You know what I mean? So just like what you said, Cole, you know, with the generation we in now, the technology, all this is coming fast. It's just coming at us at once. And, you know, like we gotta keep up with the times, you know, or are we gonna be lost? You know? And a lot of the times, you know, like I'm still learning my iPhone. My kids come up here all the time showing me how to, hey, I didn't even know how to do that. I was like, damn, I didn't even know that thing do that, you know, and they teaching me. So we all gonna be continue to be students in life and learning. So that's my thing.
Um, Going through life, any path that you choose to go down, if you really think about that phrase, it's a path. So at some point in time, somebody feet were exactly where you are now. Exactly where you're trying to go, that's where they're at. They have all the information. Now, I'm not saying that they're gonna just feed it to you where it's just easy. You just skate right into whatever it is that you're trying to do. But there's a path there. There's lessons that you can learn. They can tell you, okay, well, you're gonna have to do this, this, this. You're gonna still have to do the work for yourself. But there's knowledge there. And in all walks of life, from your family, your friends, co-workers, relationships, you just got to do your own due diligence to soak this up. It's available out there. And once you got it, it's just no telling where you can go. I mean, it's just gonna help make it easier for you to achieve whatever it is that you want to do. But you just have to realize that, sitting down talking with older people, or they just saying this, they just saying that. That don't mean that, man. You look at it, you need to soak it up. You got to understand. Rabbits don't understand eagles' decisions. As far as he knows, he's sitting in that bush and looking up. He's like, he got to be tired. So I'm gonna take out and I'm gonna run. But little do you know, he's sitting there coasting off the breeze up there. He's just waiting for you to move. It's the exact same thing in life. You have to realize this is where the information is at. You don't get to be old and wise without being young and stupid. And you need to know that you need to be able to connect one point to the other point in order for you to get to that point. And then once you get there, you have a responsibility to pass it back down to whoever's below you. You cannot move through life all on your own. Anybody who's trying, I mean, well, like I said, it's not easy to move through life on your own. And chances are stacked against you that you're not going to make. But you have to be able to humble yourself to see where all it may take is just conversation with people. Your family members, you can learn stuff about your family, like your immediate family that you never even knew, just by sitting down and talking with a couple of aunts, uncles, cousins here and there. They can let you know health things about your family that you haven't heard before. Or the reason why when you get upset, you just lose it. You ready to burn everything down. Yeah, your brother was the exact same way when he was younger. But without having those conversations with those people who have that knowledge, you won't know it. And once you get to a certain age, like I find myself, I'm getting there now. I'm actually itching to give this stuff out because it's like I done amassed all these different experiences that don't necessarily pertain to where my son is at right now at his age. But that's not to say that it's not useful to somebody. So anytime I get a chance to sit down and talk with people and where it's pertinent, yeah, as I'm just sitting there running my mouth, and in some cases I think they just appease me. Oh man, hey, he just ran his mouth, whatever. Same thing I did when I was young. But it behooves of you to soak it in. If you don't do no more, just let it sit in the back of your mind and let it tumble. Because over my years, that's what I've done a lot. I've amassed a lot of conversations with people wiser than they years and far wiser than I think I ever be. And just chopping it up, they just drop stuff off into me. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. But that is how you can move through life. That is how you need to move through life. You got to understand the information is here, and it will carry you as far as you're willing to ride it.
That's real. Brother Henry, you be preaching. You be preaching, man. I'm gonna have
You
to
said
take me a little textbook, take down some hands you be saying. What you
you
say
said
is you said
the rabbit don't know what the eagle doing. The apple don't. The rabbit don't know the eagle's decisions or something. What you said, boy? I was like, oh, man, that's one right there for
Yeah.
sure.
rabbit don't what? Henry, bro, what you got, man? When your book coming out, man? When your quote book? I need
Man, that's them conversations I told you. It just opened my mind up to just understand. They talk in them colloquialisms. Got that time, got it out that time. But they talk in that manner, and
He did it.
it's almost like a sparring back and forth of, I'm gonna say it this way, and I'm gonna see if you catch on, see if you can keep up. But in those conversations, man, they dropping gems like little girls throwing out rice at weddings, man. You just got to be there to soak it up. Once you understand it, it just hits you.
yeah.
I'm proud of you, and you did it, man. You said it. You said the word.
And it's recorded. She gonna
Yeah,
see this
man.
one.
That what that one Carlos Miller said. He said he said he asked old Buck. He said what's going on? What he said I can't call. I might spoil it. He said ain't no thing but a chicken
Yeah.
wing. But if you give me some grease, I slide you a piece. You know, I was like, boy, like there was some sayings for your ass. Ain't nothing but a
Hey,
chicken. If you give me some grease, I slide you a piece, boy. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, like you gotta love it, man. Like just the opportunity to get to that level, after you've, like I said, lived the majority of your life to be able to impart some wisdom on somebody, man, that's the circle of life. And like you said, Hen, um we said I was to be old and wise, but I was once young and dumb.
mhm.
Like it's a blessing to get to that stage. Like, what I mean, a lot of cats was just young and dumb and didn't even get past that stage, right? Because they didn't have nobody looking out for them. Um, what's that thing that because I think it was Wallow and Gilly that said it's like if your OG ain't putting you on the game, then they ain't your OG. Right, you got a lot of people out here that's talking about they OGs and this and this and that. But if he ain't putting you on the game, they really ain't your OG. If they out here still trying to do the same things that you doing out here and be in these streets and all that, nah, that ain't your OG. That's just a old a old young dumb nigga. You know what I mean? Because if they still doing the same thing that you doing, like you 20 years old and this dude is 50, and he's still out in the streets. Nah, he should be telling you, hey, you should be he should be somewhere to be able to tell you, like, yo, man, these streets ain't for you, man. Don't get my age and ain't got nothing to show for yourself. You know, hit them books, get you a good job, whatever, whatever. What I mean, that's putting you on the game, not out here, you know, sipping 40s and smoking blunts and doing all this, shooting the shit with them at the nah. Shouldn't even be like that, man. So I say, yeah, some elders didn't didn't grow up. They grew in age, but not mentally, So you got to make sure that you stay away from those. But the ones that, like I say, if you about you you getting somewhere, what I mean, you might have some skills, either you smart or you got some skills athletically, and they see you out in these streets and they took, man, get your ass home, boy. You know what I mean? What you doing out here, man? You don't need to be out here. You got too much potential, man. Go, I know you smart. I seen your last report card got all them A's on it, or I seen you on that hoop court, you know what I'm saying, banging on cats. I seen you on that baseball diamond hitting them home runs. Get out, get away from them cats. Them cats ain't no good, man. Them cats over there, they ain't no good. Get your ass home. Like, because that's the old school cat that be on the porch, chilling, watching everybody. You know what I mean? Posts up. He might have his brew, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He might have a little something to sip on, but he's still making sure that these youngsters ain't out here doing nothing dumb. That's the OG that you want to pay attention to. Not somebody that's out here on the same sidewalk as you, or I seen a video, and you guys have probably seen that video. I mean, he might be on some kind of drug or whatever, but the dude is he's looking in the dude's window. He's like, you got to be big, you. I forgot. It recirculated recently. I'll put it in the group chat, but he's just spitting some real game, man. Like, even though he might not necessarily all the way be all the way there mentally, he's still imparting some kind of wisdom on video recording. There's a lot of few. There's quite a few brothers out here that their life might not be where they wanted it to turn out, but they still are smart and they still are imparting the wisdom and that they have onto to the rest of us, and you can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? Because if I can prevent somebody else from getting to where I'm at, what I mean, like I said, speaking in his, you know, from his point of view, I'm gonna do that. I don't want to see. I would, like I said, I, I'm striving and making sure that like I said, like you said, Jesse, you 40, 41 years old, or if you about to be 41. We ain't just gonna skip to it. What I mean, we're gonna make sure. What I mean, like, hey, this time is valuable. So what I mean, like, I know you're gonna be 41 in May, right?
No, I'm be 42 in May. I'm 41
40,
right now.
I thought you just turned 40.
No, I'm 41, man.
Oh shit. Okay, all right. Well, all right. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, because okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Because when we first started doing this, I think it was
Transitioning to 41. Yeah,
got you. Okay,
40. Yeah.
got you. Okay, but yeah, man, it's just like once you get, I'm still learning too. Like you said, it took me a while to adapt to the things that I might have been put on when I was younger, but those gems stick around. you know, knowing that my family was a family of entrepreneurs as well, and it's in me. It's always been in me, but it's just one of those things that sometimes it just takes that one little spark, and it's gonna set it completely off. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, there's elders out there that you have to make sure that you have to use their visual representation and say, okay, that's not where I want to be in life. And like you said, earlier, Hen, sometimes you can't take everything that's said, or like I said, just because they're older than you, but they still might be able to impart some wisdom on you. So it's like you got to take what you can away from it. Don't use not everything. Like, man, this dude is don't have his own home. He don't have his own car or whatever he might be struggling, but he just gave me a gem. So I'm gonna take that gem, separate it from everything else that's of him, but take that gem and stick that in the back of the head, and know that, okay, that's there, and use it whenever you need to. It's just like when you go to church, man. If you're a church going person or not, that's not really my lane. But anytime I do go to church, I know that I'm gonna catch a gem. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna deny the knowledge. If something resonates with me, boom, okay, I'm taking that. I'm putting that aside, and I'm gonna remember that. But you got to be able to separate that sometime. You know, um, so just like we saying, man, it don't matter. They might be an older person, older than you, but if you can visually see that they're not where you don't want to be where they are at that age, but they can still impart wisdom on you, take that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Take that gym, whatever gyms they got, and respect them for that, but make sure that you don't follow in those, in those footsteps as far as, where they are, you know, physically or what have you. So yeah, man. I got a question though. Out of all the things what's your favorite, what's one of your favorite sayings that that you've heard from one of the older folk, the elders? What's the one saying? If it's a saying, if it's a piece of game, if it's whatever it may be.
I don't know. Oh, that's tough. There's too many.
Um,
One
That's
gotta
crazy. I mean, it
one
all
gotta
depends.
stick
Like,
out.
yeah, I mean, I think we know the basic ones, but if it's really a profound one, it's just like it's so many. I think that's the words of the wise. It come. I mean, Henry done said it. You know, he probably got them all. I just think the one. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think off the top of the head. I had to think on
Mhm.
that for sure. But what I will say though is, when we think about just our elders and again the wisdom that they do drop, the keys that they be dropping, we don't get them as much as we used to because what I'm thinking is we don't even be having family reunions like that. And I'm not saying we don't have them, but on the level of which we had them, that's when that village that we speak of on how we like need to have that village that raises a family. It usually starts with the grandparents and then it just trickles on down. But we lost sight of those. So we don't even get to have the opportunities as a whole, at least as a whole family, to sit and cultivate that energy. Because I know when I was growing up, it was a family reunion religiously every year. You had T-shirts, you did all these things, you was kicking it back. So if we got back to stuff like that, it'd be way easier for them to keep up with our lives, keep up with them as well. But then, just being able to keep that bond and that fellowship, and shit, we get like I said, we get back to it. It'll definitely I'm pretty sure they'll appreciate it more than we would because they the ones who came here before us and they the ones who've been paving the way. So just us sitting down with them having those conversations, it'll probably brighten their whole week. I remember saying though, it ain't probably no old head said it though. It may have been my older brother. What he say? Uh, dang, I just had one. Uh, damn it, I just had one that fast too. It just went away. Yeah, I don't know. I just lost man. I had one though. I had
I
one.
got one, man. I got one for you. What my my everybody used to say it was every eye shut ain't sleep.
Mm.
Every eye shut ain't sleep. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's like watching everybody that's around you or whatever people do or say, but blah blah blah. So every eye shut ain't sleep. That was one of my favorite ones I live with to this day.
I don't think I ever heard that one, but that's I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I love that.
yeah.
Every eye shut ain't sleep.
real.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what's
heavy
up.
work. That's heavy work.
Is
What
this
about
a
you?
parent? Hold on, wait. I got one. Is this a parent one?
You said
if,
what?
if your friend jump off a cliff, is you gonna jump off with him? Is that a parent?
Hey,
That's a parent.
that's
Hey, that one used to be like, wait, why we jumping off cliffs now?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right, for sure.
Monkey
For
see
sure.
monkey.
Yep.
What you got for us? I know you got one in the archive.
uh, not not necessarily to be taken literally, but that's why they make sidewalks because the streets ain't for everybody.
Yeah, hey,
There we go.
I heard,
Yeah.
man. When I seen that, because I seen that video of the recently with the old head said that shit. He was like, you know why they made the sidewalks? Because the streets ain't for everybody. It was like,
Man,
oh, that's
I grew up
hey,
hearing that.
hey. I had never heard it before that, but then yeah, that's like yeah. So that's a dope one right there, man. Like every eye shut ain't sleep. Ain't that what you said? Every eye shut ain't sleep.
Yeah. Every I said ain't. Yeah.
And that's why they made the sidewalks because the streets ain't for everybody. That's bombs right there. My
Drop
mom put me on
right
the
there.
one, man. Like, I mean, it's a simple one, but every time that's why I don't even use the word no more. I refuse to use the word. Like I must have said something like, yeah, man, I'm gonna try to, mom, or I'm trying. She said, trying is lying. Trying is lying. And I was like, damn. Because if you think about it, like you saying it's just like with Yoda, do or do not, there is no try, right? Like when you say I'm gonna try to do it, you already halfway lying to yourself because you know you ain't gonna do it. And ever since she put me onto that one, it was real simple because she was I think I forgot what the conversation was. She was asking me like what I wanted to do or what I was looking to accomplish, and I must have said I'm gonna try to do this or I'm trying. Son, you know what? Trying is lying. And it was the way she put it on me. That's what did it because it was like the conversation we were having, and then the way she just put it on me, like trying is lying, and I was like, damn. You're right. You're right. So that's probably one of the ones that will always stick with me. So I don't even like using that word at all anymore. If I'm in the process of doing something, it's like, nah, okay, I'm doing this. If I can't say I'm doing it, then I'm not even going to attempt it, or you know what I mean. I'm not even going to act like nah. I don't even like so yeah. That one hit hard, but those are some good ones, man. Those are some good ones. Who was your most um yeah, there's another one that I got, but that's on some anyway. Who I guess you would say who's the most influential elder that you have? Aunt,
I have to say
grandma. No?
my dad's brother. That was my jewel there, man. That guy there just gave me the game, of life and everything that I needed to know, mechanics, all that, man. Just all the stuff that I needed to know as a young king that transfer until I'm able to teach to my kids. So yeah, man, my uncle was that dude, man. That was my king, bro.
So,
That's real. Can't say that I had one. To be honest with you, other than my grandma. My
there it
grandma,
is.
my grandma was different. She was a Jehovah Witness, but my granny, which is my mama, she was the one on the go. She the one who taught me to be on the go. She ain't really had no sayings other than again, all right,
Well,
y'all,
not like I
let's
said,
win.
not even
Say
just
let's
saying,
go.
just one that like I said that you look to and that was most influential to you. Period. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, influential. I just think she got my heart because shit, when I was down, I got into this badass car accident. I couldn't walk. I had staples in my head. That's who took care of me. So influential, yeah, that word is powerful. But far as just the biggest heart, the kindest, sweetest
The
person,
biggest impact. Let's say this: the biggest
yeah,
impact.
that's more. Yeah, that's more who. Yeah. Other than that, there wasn't no man in my life. So far as just having an OG, I was my own OG. So I bumped my head so many times. It's crazy. So, but yeah, as far as impact though, yeah, Grams for sure. My granny,
Yeah.
and now she living here, so I get to have her every day. So that's love. Ain't no better present than that. So
Enjoy that, man.
got to,
Heck
got
yeah.
to. That's one of my best gifts of my birthday this year. Right before my birthday came, she got here on the 15th, I think it was. So yeah, ain't even been a whole month yet.
So,
Hmm.
so
I just think now, man, just where I'm at. You said it though, Ty. I was thinking it. You said it. But at one point in our lives, we gonna be the OGs. We gonna be the grandfathers or the uncles and all that kind of stuff. I've already been called uncle, even in my
great
30s.
uncles,
So
yeah, yeah.
it is, it is what it is. But just thinking of it like that, man, it's like, dog, we got, at least for me, God, with the grace of God, God willing, I got actually just about more days ahead of me than I do behind me. So, and again, with the grace of God, me getting to 80 or something like that, then for sure. Um, but for those who don't, those who in their 70s, they got way more days behind them than they do ahead. So the life that they live now is strictly for their own well-being, for their own sanity. They doing what they want, the way they want to, when they want to. And I think all of us strive to get to that point. So then having those elders to have that type of balance. My granny is a bookworm, and I never thought I would be one, but moving her out here, man, I had to move like 100 boxes, just books, straight, no cap. I'll go show y'all. So it's just like being able to be in a space in your life where there's, again, I can't say she don't have no worries, but bills, you ain't got to think about them. You ain't really worried about going to work. You just living. You know what I mean? We do a lot of existing in this 2024 year that we allegedly living in, but she's living. We get to exist and live depending on who you are. So just being around that type of energy, being in that type of headspace, I'm just like, yo, at some point, I'm gonna be somebody's OG. What does that look like? What type of story am I gonna be able to tell? What type of legacy am I gonna be able to leave behind? So to me, it's exciting. I know some people get scared about it, but I'm excited because now I get to create that narrative. I get to create whatever I decide to take with me and then pass on. So for me, it's like that's a blessing, man. Just being able to see that and then being able to start your own, it's a blessing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about you, Ian? Who's the most impactful, elder that you've had in your life?
I have to say, outside of family was probably my second job, which was my first plant job. And it was a guy I worked for. For like me, I can't think of his last name now, but for conversation purpose, I say his name Mr. Jimmy. And that would be the guy. Like I said, I was the youngest person there, and we worked kind of in a close area. And used to have all kind of older guys come and run their mouth with him. But he would just, I would just learn so much from him. Like as we were working, coworkers come up and want to stop, and talk. Well, that's not stopping him from working. So he already picked up. As soon as they come over to start talking, he'd be like, hey man, give me a hand with this. So he put them to work. And they'll sit there and talk for a while till they get tired of working, then they walk off. Then he's like, see, that's all you got to do. You getting your work done, and they want to talk. When they get tired of talking, they'll go on, but they don't help you out. They ain't held you up. So I start picking up little stuff like that from him. Um, as men, we can laugh and joke, but we can only laugh and joke in a respectful way. You're not gonna talk to me any kind of way, even laughing and joking. You're gonna recognize this is a man right here.
Right.
I got
Right.
that from him.
Right.
Now, these are some lessons I also got from family members, but this was somebody that didn't have an obligation to pass any information to me, or at least at that point in time, I didn't think he had an obligation to pass it to me. Um, Relationships, just a lot of stuff I learned just from watching this man. I was only around him for like 2 or 3 years, but it's a lot of experiences I picked up then that I carry on and I utilize in my work atmosphere now, just in how I deal with people, because I saw how he dealt with people. And regardless of what, whether you were above him or you work below him, you respect him for what he was and how he displayed himself.
That's dope, man. It's funny because as soon as you said Mr. Jimmy, it was like, even though you was just spitballing one or whatever, like I will. So I'm gonna say this, and then I'll say, my most impactful elder. But this brother, I was like, maybe I was in my mid-20s, and like you said, it was one of my, jobs, at one of my first few jobs or whatever. But I'm sitting in the back in the break room, and he was a security guard at the time. He was our security guard. I might have shared this before on one of our other episodes, but it still was so impactful to me that I won't ever forget it, and I haven't done it since. But I was in the back in the break room, and just eat my little food, whatever. But I had my back to the door. Had my back to the door, so the brother walks in. He was on his break. And he, like you said, he didn't have to impart that wisdom on me, but as he walks in, he's like, "Hey man, don't ever sit with your back to the door, man. You know what I mean? Don't. As a like, brother, make sure you always see your exits. Always see, you know what I mean? Don't ever sit with your back to the door." And I respected it. Like I got it immediately, right? Like it was something that was, it was just something second nature to him, probably because he might have had a father, or I think he might have been military, or former military or whatever. But me, nobody imparted that. I have uncles, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever imparted that on me. But as soon as he told me that, ever since then, there has not been a time when I would sit with my back to the door. If I'm in a restaurant, if I'm, you know what I mean, in somebody's house, whatever, I'm not sitting with my back to the door. And that was so important to me, because as a man, that's part of the providing and protecting. You know what I mean? Like if you go into an establishment and you can't see somebody coming in, like how are you going to protect your family? Right? You don't know what's going on. But if I'm sitting with my face to the door and I see somebody that's sketchy that's coming in, nah, I can make a decision. I could react. I can do whatever, you know what I mean? So that's a whole part of providing protection. So yeah, man, like I said, it's important to take the knowledge and wisdom from many different sources. That man didn't know me but for maybe a few months, but he was an elder, and I respected him as such. We'd be at work and he'd be putting us on this, certain game, and it's like, yep, boom, I'm soaking it up, So that was definitely appreciative. But my most impactful elder was, like you said, Corey, my grandma. My grandmother was the most impactful for me because I didn't have nobody but her. For the longest time, coming up as a child, even though she, what I mean, she made me go pick my own switches when I when I got got in trouble. She made me go out to that backyard and pick my own switches, and what I mean, it was cold. But like I said, I ain't have no. She was the only one that actually had my back, made sure that I was taken care of. You know what I mean? My mom was in and out of jail, and I'm living in this place, that place, that place, this place, or whatever. But she was the only one that made sure that I was right. You know, I have both sides. But everybody else in my family had both sides of the family. Their father and their her side, which was my mom's side, the mom's side, and their basically everybody had both sides of the family but me. And so when say if one of my cousins might have you know got taken somewhere with their their other family, she would make sure that because they might come back with some new gear or some new this or new that or whatever. But I'm sitting there like, damn, I ain't got. She would always took care of me, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't have nobody. Period. Like she was the only one that I had, so she's always gonna be the most impactful for me. Of course, like I said, had a few uncles that they imparted some wisdom on me, some game here and there. Taught me how to drive, imparted the work ethic on me. But when it comes to most impactful, she will always rank number one with me, man. Because if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't have made it to 21, probably to 18, because I would have been out in them streets. You know, I would always take the hat off to her. So I love my grandma. Like, and the fact that I lost her when I was 14, man, life hasn't been the same since. You know what I mean? Life hasn't been the same since because I forget what rapper said it, but he was like, he basically was like, yeah, my grandma's the last woman to ever, truly love me, that showed me true love. And I'm like, bro, I feel that 1,000% because that's the last person that has shown me that showed me the same. And I was 14 when she died. You know
I
what
think
I
that
mean?
was DMX.
DMX, I think it was NBA YoungBoy though too. One of the more recent, the more newer cats, younger cats. I think it was NBA YoungBoy who might have said it if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, DMX's story is. Whew, I seen a clip of that. It was like, whoa, that was.
Yeah, you understand why he was how he was, man.
Yeah, bro, that was heavy. I was like, man, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot. So, yeah, man, it's elders are important, and it's just important that we know that, and like I said earlier, get whatever game, whatever information, whatever knowledge we can from them while they're still here. Anytime you get a chance to chop it up with some older folk, some grown folk, get whatever you can out of them. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, we gonna be them OGs, you know, and we want to be able to tell these youngsters what they got to look out for, or what we had going on, So, yeah, because life is fragile. Life is fragile, you know. So yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
So,
Anybody's anything else before we wrap it up? Last bit of
one washes the other, both in the face.
you know it. Real talk.
That's what I'm gonna say. One hand washes the other face. So, you know,
You eat a hard head, make a soft behind. Come on. Come
another one.
on.
Hey, I think that was the most. I don't care who you was with, that you heard that one at least once a day growing up.
Hmm.
Don't be running inside the house. We got
Hmm.
the drinking outside though. Water hose, we out there to yeah, no, you weren't outside like we was. So yeah, them grandparents was vital. I think my granddad was cool too though, just thinking about it now, because he the hardworking man. So far as hard work go, yeah, granddad was there too. So let's not sleep on the granddads, man. I know we ain't
Oh
really
yeah,
touched
no doubt. No doubt. My
the
granddad died before I died, before I was he died like I was like maybe 11 months old. He died
mm,
in like no, he actually died when I was 3 months old. Yeah.
mm,
So
yeah, for the first time. All the way out in Madison, Wisconsin. We went on the river or wherever we went. He had a van. We went ice fishing. Boy, never again. Um, oh, ice fishing? Yeah, I didn't know what I was getting into. It was fun. Now I look back at it, I'd do it again now. But at that age, I was like 8. I don't know. Nah, I ain't
wouldn't
want
have
no part.
feel
Nah, probably I ain't never went fishing again after that.
that.
I wouldn't mind though, like it's so peaceful. But granddad, nah, you hit me hard the first time. You was supposed to like take it slow. Nah, we gonna go ice fishing time. All right, shit, fuck it, we going. Oh man, them the type of memories I'm trying to create for my little one, man. And look, I got to say what Ty said. I'm gonna create, not try. I'm gonna
Yep.
do it. You
Yep.
feel me? So yeah, that's just that's part of the passing on that torch. At some point, whatever point we become the OGs, we're gonna have to be able to light that torch and keep it lit and then pass it on. So keep that fire burning, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Keep that
Yes,
fire.
Sir,
sir.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes,
my fire.
sir. Yeah. Another
This is
good
my
episode,
fire
man.
right here for now.
Yeah, I see. I see. You got see. See you. But yeah, man, we had to tap in this one with the elders. Shout out to everybody who continues to watch, support. We're gonna keep bringing you these good conversations, and you know, hit you with some gems. Do what we got to do. We're just gonna keep it moving. We're just gonna keep it moving. Next week, like I said, we probably gonna tap into some. We're gonna let the dust settle for a good week or so. You know what I mean? We're gonna let the things, kind of, let the emotions kind of cease. Everybody's emotional levels real high right now. But yeah, as of today, we had to tap in about the elders because like I said, it's just like Corey said, it's about the passing of the torch, and we gonna make sure as we get it, we're gonna keep it lit. So, it's certainly on behalf of Jay Hunter, Hand, Complex Key, it's your boy Mindset, and we want to say peace. Bro Foundation, we out.
Peace out.